It is totally their responsibility. And if they had taken care of the business earlier, we would be in this situation right now.
The WNBA has a massive problem, and the Indiana Fever are officially done with it, because what happened to Caitlin Clark against the Connecticut Sun wasn't just a missed call, it wasn't a one-off oversight, it's a pattern. The WNBA has a serious problem on its hands, and the Indiana Fever have had enough. What happened to Caitlin Clark against the Connecticut Sun wasn't just a missed call, it wasn't an isolated mistake. It's part of a growing and troubling pattern.
Here is the problem. So many of these incidents are happening towards Indiana Fever players, particularly Caitlin Clark.
Instead of celebrating the fact that the Fever just made it to the Commissioner Cup Finals, something that should be headline news the entire sports world is locked in on something else, the continued reckless way that Caitlin Clark is being treated on the court. In this case, the refs weren't just allowing physical play, they let the Sun attack the literal face of the league and get away with it. And when Fever head coach Stephanie White stepped up to the podium and started answering that very first question about the officiating, you could feel it coming. This wasn't going to be a carefully worded statement. She was setting up for a TKO instead of celebrating the Fever's impressive achievement of reaching the Commissioner's Cup Finals.
Keelan, for this first, I know you and JC go way back to the Big Ten. What was going on with the chip is there, and what explanation were you given for the tech that you got?
I'll take the official questions.
I've got all the highlights coming up. This was an epic takedown, and it was necessary because if we learn anything from this game and from Stephanie White's post-game presser, it's just the WNBA didn't just fail to learn from the 5 games Caitlin Clark missed. They've straight up ignored complaints for a long time, and the Fever have clearly had enough. So let's break down the on-court chaos, the post-game smackdown, and the reaction from the sports world that is officially sounding the alarm on the WNBA, because we might have just hit a breaking point. First, like this video and drop some sunglasses in the comments, because at this point Caitlin might need to start wearing goggles on the court. All right.
And Caitlin Clark are talking to the official. They're both going at it saying, hey, oh, there's a little extra right there. Uh-oh.
Of course, we had JC Sheldon in the mix, who you may recall was the same player who took out both Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Carlson earlier this season. Well, JC apparently felt like going for the Fever injury hat tick a course. JC Sheldon was right in the middle of the action, a name you might remember as the same player who previously took out both Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Carlson earlier this season. Well, it looks like JC was aiming for a hat trick, because she seemed more than ready to deliver a third injury, this time targeting the Fever.
Watch when Caitlin Clark is trying to create some space. It looked like she just got hit in the eye there.
Ooh, and Marina Mabry. I missed that one, Idona.
Oh, I missed that one too.
Jackie went at the literal face of the league, and then in the chaos, Mabry body checked Caitlin to the court, and fans couldn't help but be reminded of this exact moment from last season. And of course, this is Jackie went straight at the literal face of the league. And in the middle of the chaos, Marina Mabry delivered a brutal body check that sent Caitlin crashing to the court. Instantly, fans were reminded of a nearly identical moment from last season. And of course, this isn't just coincidence anymore.
You can't claw someone in the eye. Eject her. Eject both of them. Eject both of them. So there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Nothing there. JC Sheldon claws her in the eye. Then the two of them get into it, and then Mabry just goes and shoves her onto the ground. Eject both of them. Eject both of them. Eject both of them.
In just one sequence, the Connecticut Sun managed to combine two of the WNBA's most signature attacks on Caitlin Clark, the eye claw, and the blindside body check. Now, of course, everyone with functioning eyeballs, not impaired by JCS Sheldon's talons, could see this was the perfect moment for the league to finally send a message to show that its biggest star deserves basic protection on the court in a single sequence. The Connecticut Sun managed to pull off a brutal combo featuring two of the WNBA's most infamous tactics used against Caitlin Clark: the eye rake and the blindside body check. And yet again, anyone with clear vision, unharmed by Jackie Sheldon's claws, could see this was the perfect moment for the league to finally step up and send a message that its biggest star deserves the most basic level of protection on the court.
Wait, JC Sheldon got away with clawing her in the face. Caitlin got teed up for getting clawed in the face. They didn't even call it a common foul. They didn't call it a common foul. They didn't even call it a common foul. Oh my God. They don't care about players. They don't care about players.
ISO, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Jay-Z showing claws her in the eye. Then the two of them get into it. And then Moret maybe just goes and shoves her onto the ground, eject both of them. After all, you'd think that after Caitlin Clark missed 5 games and the league's ratings tanked, the WNBA would be extra careful, maybe even a little protective of the one player keeping the league afloat. But nope, it's the WNBA, so we got this. So what do we get? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Jackie straight up claws Caitlin in the eye. Then the two get tangled up, and out of nowhere, Moret comes in and shoves Caitlin to the ground. And what's the league's response? Eject both of them. That's right. Both of you think that after Caitlin Clark missed 5 games and the league's ratings took a nosedive, the WNBA would be a little more cautious, maybe even protective, of the one player actually keeping the spotlight on the league. But nope, this is the WNBA we're talking about. So of course, we got this.
When I tell you social media is setting the WNBA on fire right now, not in a good way, that's the understatement.
They don't care about players' no ejections, and somehow Caitlin Clark ended up getting hit with a technical absolutely insane. And then came a reaction, and this is where things exploded because fans, analysts, and even former players weren't just upset, they were furious. They clearly don't care about protecting players. No ejections, no accountability. And somehow, Caitlin Clark was the one hit with a technical foul. Absolutely unbelievable. Then came the reaction, and that's when everything blew up. Fans, analysts, even former players weren't just upset. They were furious.